This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1292 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by Dr. Rose's Remedies. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. On today's show, Randy Cadwell joins the driving radio show crew to discuss desensitization. It applies to driving horses, riding horses, and all sorts of horses. And we'll get right to our tip after this from Dr. Rose's Remedies. Dr. Rose DeLeva, developer of Dr. Rose's Skin Treatment Salve and Spray, saw a need for a natural, safe alternative to steroids to help the plethora of skin issues she was seeing in her veterinary practice. She combined the best all-natural ingredients known for their healing properties to create Dr. Rose's Skin Treatment Salve and Spray. Neither product contains any artificial colorings or preservatives, and both are steroid and gluten-free. Both products are antiviral, antifungal, and antiseptic, as well as anti-hemorrhagic and anti-inflammatory. They also cool and nourish the skin, help to heal burns and lacerations, and surgical incisions. Here at the Horse Radio Network, we use Dr. Rose's on all manner of cuts and scrapes on our horses, and we have found it most effective to keep our horses from getting scratches on their pasterns during periods of heavy dew. You can find Dr. Rose's Skin Treatment Salve and Spray at Dover Saddlery Stores or go online to drrosesremedies.com. That's drrosesremedies.com.
Well, next we have Randy Cadwell with our monthly Tremont training tip, talking about desensitization. Well, hey, Randy, welcome back to the Driving Radio Show.
Hello, how are you guys?
Well, I'm super excited to hear our next Tremont training tip. What do you have in store for us today?
Well, I was thinking that because of, Halloween and all coming up and having a great, arrangements on the side of the road, that we could talk about how to control your spooking animals.
Oh, that's a great idea. And Glenn, let me tell you, if you've never been to Southern Pines in around Halloween, which Randy and Keaty celebrate Halloween for weeks on end, there are giant inflatable Halloween decorations all up and down their road.
Every horse that goes by freaks out.
Yeah, and by the time that Halloween is over, they no longer freak out.
Yeah, you're just helping the neighborhood. You're there to help.
It's called accidental training.
What's it called?
Accidental training.
Oh, accidental training. Got it. Okay, got it. My biggest thing from the ponies I've driven over the years is cows. A cow running up to the fence is there. You can have blow up balloons and all that stuff. Doesn't matter. But cows just freak them out.
We have a neighbor who just bought 4 cows, and we are beginning to train all the horses as we go by. Because sometimes it's okay when the cows are standing, and then the cows lie down.
Or
and then the ponies are like, what is that?
It's when 50 of them come running over to the fence to see what's going on the road that it really freaks them out. Then you're going down the road all right. All right, so I'm ready to hear how we training with cows is kind of hard unless you actually have cows.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
But how about the blow up inflatable witches?
They are afraid of, you can train the same way.
Okay.
If you're coming up to something and you see it, keep it, but don't get really tense on your reins. Just talk to your animal through your reins. Say, it's okay. And when you're coming up, because we have the advantage of having winkers on, you can actually have your animal bend as if it's going around a corner in the direction away from what is scary. Because then the winkers block what is going to scare them. So then half the time they never see it. So it's the best way to get them to get over the problem is you can let them see it a little and then bend them away, and then let them see it a little and then bend them away again.
So we shouldn't stare at it and then
Please
think,
do not.
oh my God, I think he's going to spook at that. And then get really heavy on your left rein and like turn their head to look at it and
Exactly.
let them stare at it and then run away through their outside shoulder.
Yes, that is exactly what we want to avoid.
Because that was my
Not that we're
first.
talking from experience, Wendy.
Yeah, that's my first inclination when I see something scary.
Because the first thing that happens is then you telegraph that right down your reins to your animal, and they go, well, wait, if my driver is scared, I really need to be scared.
Right.
So,
they're like, are you scared of that? And I'm saying, yes, I'm terrified.
I am terrified of that.
So, okay, so first of all, step one, we have to overcome our own fears. We need to
Correct.
not look at the scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
We need to trust that our horse is not going to spook, and we have to bend away from the scary thing. How do we bend away from the scary thing?
You set them into the outside rein would then be the thing closest to the scary item. And then when you have them bend, they'll bend away from it. But also as you do that, you're giving them a job to do. So then they're not thinking about the scary thing. So you can ask them to bend and then go a little straight and ask them to bend, because then their mind goes, oh, I'm going to work now. And then they forget about what the scary thing is.
So to get them in your so to get them in your outside rein, I think that's one of the hardest things to do if you're not used to that. I remember when I first started driving with you, I used to be like, but I don't get it. I don't have any inside leg, right? So you have no inside leg. How do you get them into your outside rein?
Well, that's something you need to work on in the dressage ring. Because every circle is controlled with your outside rein. Because outside rein does speed and size of circle. That's it. That's your outside rein does.
And inside
only puts the amount of bend you have on. So if you're going down the road and you just bend them slightly, it would be setting them in their outside rein and then asking them to bend slightly with your inside hand.
And then go straight.
Yeah, but stay straight. Don't actually turn.
Straight. Okay, now what if, in theory, I get it.
Yes.
But what if it doesn't work out and they start to get a little nervous? What if they stop to look at it? Should I keep them going? Is it better to be going or stopped?
Keep them going. Definitely keep them going.
See, now my inclination...
And if they stop to look at it, again, turn them away from it.
Okay.
And ask them to move off again.
All right, so that goes against my intuition, I guess. My intuition was, especially with the Hackney I have now, who likes to look at everything, and we only use half blinkers on him, but because when we use the full, he was freaking out at noises. If he can't see it, he freaks out. So it's actually worked out better that he can see it. So on occasions when it's been like the cows, let's say, where you have several cows running up to the fence, I've let him stop and look at it, which is what he wants to do. And my inclination was to let him at least figure out that they're not going to kill him and then move him along. So I'm doing that wrong.
Well, because you don't want to teach him that when he's afraid of something,
he gets
to stop and stare.
Yeah, good point.
Because that'll be a problem if you enter the dressage ring and they're afraid of the patron's tent. Because they'll stop and stare.
Right.
Then you have a little issue.
Right.
So you want them to keep going forward, because then also you're by the item that they're afraid of.
You pass it.
And I guess what my inclination was, okay, so I'll follow my train of thought, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's done this, right?
Running cows is a little different than afraid of, a blow-up thing or a pile of garbage.
Yeah, his thing is the noise. Yeah. So I guess...
that's a stampede.
Yeah, right, exactly. So his thing has always been the noise. And if it's... We live in a Christian neighborhood, so if the horses run up to the fence and he can't see him, it's the same reaction. And we've been working on this for 2 years now, and it's gotten a little better. He's not bolting into oncoming traffic anymore, but now we're down to what we call baby bolts, which is just a couple of fast steps instead of a half mile down the road. But it's that thing about the noise, which is why I've always let him look at it. Because if the noise is behind him and he can't see it, that's where it tends to be worse.
But see, now for 2 years, you've let him, every time that he is afraid of something, stop and look at it.
Yeah, that's true.
And so then that's what he expects to do. So when he doesn't do it, then he gets more afraid.
Okay, so how do I fix my stupid mistake?
Now you have to go back, and now you say like he does baby bolts, like 2 steps.
Yeah.
Well, just when you hear it coming, give him a job to do. Bend him right, bend him left. Make him, use himself from behind. Get him stepping over. Do a shoulder in. Do anything so that he's not thinking about the noise of the running.
Okay.
Because if he has another job to do, it's funny how then they just don't react to what they're afraid of.
Got it.
Because then they're paying attention to you and everything else fades out. Just like when we enter a ring, you don't hear the crowd talking usually. You don't hear people, you just are by yourself in the ring. You don't hear what the announcer says.
I think also when you're thinking to yourself, okay, I have to do something. I have to keep him busy. It keeps your mind busy too. So then you are not so nervous yourself.
Did not going, oh God, they're running up. Oh God, they're running up. We're going to run away.
It's a mental battle, Glenn. It's a mental battle.
More on my part than his, probably.
What you shouldn't do.
Yes.
I think for me, it's the hardest thing. It's on my part a lot because I do get nervous a lot.
Yep. Yeah, it is the hardest thing because then, like I said, it instantaneously goes down the reins to them. Because probably the first time, Glenn, that your pony bolted forward because it was afraid of the cows running up, you grabbed him and you were afraid.
Oh, yeah, because it caught me totally. It was the first time he had done it, and it caught me totally off guard.
So then every time that
and we were, by the way, in oncoming traffic at that point, too. So, yeah. So.
Don't train on with.
Well, I mean, we live in a neighborhood that doesn't have many cars, so there was nothing coming. Yeah. But thank God, or he would have he would have been right up over the hood.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, so then the next time you saw the cows, you were afraid of him doing it. So then you probably grabbed him even sooner.
Oh, yep.
So
that is exactly correct. Exactly correct. I need to take lessons when you guys are back in Florida, by the way.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But it feeds on itself. It's like garbage day. If you react at every time that, like, okay, they spook a little bit from one of the trash cans. Then when you come up, you're going, oh, God, he's going to spook again. What you have to do is be like, okay, we're out for a drive, and we're just going to look away from the trash pile. And you'll be amazed because by the time you get around the neighborhood, they won't even notice the trash cans. But if each time you come to the trash cans, you say, oh, God, it's going to spook. It's going to spook. Oh, my God, what do I do? I'm going to pull really hard. He's going to be spooking worse at each set of trash cans.
Please tell me I'm not the only one with this issue.
No, we all have it.
Okay, good. So, makes me feel better. I was going to quit hosting the show.
It seems to me that we try to fix a lot of Glenn's problems while he drives.
Yes, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help.
How's the whole thing going?
We have to fix those. We have to fix those things because every time I go up, he wants to take me for a ride, and every time we do these training tips, I get more and more nervous that I'm not sure I want to go for a ride.
Yeah, but I will tell you one thing: he's gotten better thanks to all of your help because I had
in the barn?
I had one of my top sponsors come in last winter. She stops by every winter, and we took her for a drive in the neighborhood, and they happened to be paving all the roads.
Oh, my God.
Well, guess what was coming down the road right after they had paved them all? He loves equipment. He'll walk right up to equipment. It's natural things like horses running. But the street sweeper... was coming down the road.
That's the monster.
And he didn't flinch. And now Jennifer's riding horse, Beaker, who never flinched at anything, was freaked out. But Scooter doesn't mind man-made equipment and cars and trucks and all of that.
That's funny.
Yeah, isn't that funny? He doesn't care about that, but he cares about something running. That sounds like a horse chasing him, But so we didn't have a problem with that at all. A street sweeper. How many carriage horses are going to go by a street sweeper in full operation? So
that's funny.
Yeah. And of course, the street sweeper guy has never seen a horse, so he didn't think to turn it off,
No, exactly.
No.
Yeah, we used to have a horse that used to spook at the azaleas when they would bloom. Because, they normally weren't bright pink, and now all of a sudden they were bright pink.
Maybe it was the smell.
Oh, my God.
Maybe it's spooking at the smell. They smell terrible.
That's tough in Southern Pines, too.
Yeah,
You have a
right,
lot of
exactly.
azaleas.
Covered in azaleas.
Yeah.
Well, it could be worse, I guess.
Could be.
All right, so if you're going to
Well-
give everybody one, what's the word I'm looking for? If you're going to give everybody one thing to practice, like one solid thing, go out and do this tonight as the first step.
Be confident.
Okay, but if you're going to give them...
You, as the driver, have to be confident, and it will go down the reins to your animal.
So if there's one exercise that people could go out and start with tonight to practice, is it blow up a great big thing and then, practice it? What's the exercise they can start with?
The exercise they can start with is when they go out driving, when they come upon something scary, don't overreact. Be confident with your horse and you, and ask your horse just to bend away from the object. And start off with small things, like one cow, and then move up to the 50 running cows.
So if they're scared of garbage day, then get your garbage cans out, put them along your lane at home where it's safe if something does happen, or your arena even, and just start practicing that way.
Yes. And just a lot of it comes from the horses feeling that you're scared of the item as well.
Right.
So if you're confident, they'll be confident. And then if they say, "Oh, I'm still a little nervous," then you put them in your outside rein and you ask them to bend. You keep your eye open for what is coming ahead for them, because they want to know that. They don't want to be the leader. They want you to be the leader.
Right. Okay.
Oh, that's so true.
Cool.
And I think that's a great tip to put the garbage can in your ring. Like, do it somewhere safe so that if it doesn't work out, you're not going to get hurt.
Yeah, it's better there
Or
than
have
in oncoming traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
Or have a person be on the ground with you, or, have somebody that gives you confidence so you can be safe. Set yourself up for success.
If it is your regular arena, they will most definitely spook if you put a trash can in it.
This was interesting. We were talking to Monty Roberts one day, and I told him about the running in the leaves, especially if horses are running down through woods. That's that sound of the leaves, and he recommended, and we haven't been able to do it because we're going to lose our leaves here, later than everybody else. But he recommended take a whole bunch of dried leaves and bed his stall with it, so that he's hearing that noise all the time.
But he's turned out he hears himself walking in it anyway.
Yeah, but
he can hear the leaves and I think it's the running animals, and they think because they're herd animals,
right,
that they are supposed to run because he hears the other ones running.
And he's very alpha, so he's on alert anyway. He's taking charge of the situation and going to be at the ready.
Exactly.
And that was interesting. Interesting. We saw this play out. Wendy, we talked a little bit earlier in the show about us going on vacation to Colorado, and we got to watch over a 3-day period of time elk herds, and it's rutting season for the elk. And we had a group of about 25 of them. There was one huge, enormous bull with all the cows, and that was his herd, his harem. And we had an interloper come in. We had another bull, smaller, come in and try and roust them out. And Grandpa saw that and wasn't having any parts of it and chased them off. And for the next 3 days, we saw them around. It was this interloper trying to get a couple cows, off the herd, and Grandpa chasing them away every day. And so we really got to see that alpha behavior, and it was fun to watch in a very natural environment from very close up. It was really cool to see that happening with in a herd.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's the
and
same.
And especially if he is like the leader of the pack, horses running up to him and stuff is something that he would be very sensitive to.
Exactly.
But again, you just don't avoid the area. Don't get nervous when you get there. Just be active about it.
Okay, so what she's saying is, as usual, it's my fault.
Yes.
No.
That's what she's saying. No,
Always our fault.
don't cover it up, Wendy.
Well,
That's
it is-
exactly what
it's-
she's saying.
It's not your fault. It's just that she's helping you learn to be the leader in your relationship with
Yes.
your pony.
But
See-
it is always the driver's fault or always the rider's fault.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm a married man. It's hard to think about being the leader of anything. You know, I have a wife of 30 years.
Yeah.
So
Well, here's
that's
your
hard.
one chance. These 30 minutes a day you drive your pony. You're in charge, Glenn. You're the boss.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. What's the website?
Well, you can find Randy and Kitty on Facebook, right?
Yes, on Facebook. Miranda or Kitty Cadwell.
Well, that about takes care of it. You can find links to today's guests as well as lots more tips at horsetipdaily.com. This podcast was made possible through the generous support of Dr. Rose's Remedies and listeners like you. Learn how you can help support Horse Radio Network programming and qualify for auditors-only perks by going to horsetipdaily.com and clicking on the Become an Auditor banner. This is Coach Jen, and I'll be back again soon with another tip. So until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.